Hi there, my name is Alex. I am one of the naturalists at Okeeheelee Nature Center, and I'm also a certified yoga instructor and a lifetime member to the Tight Hamstrings Club. So this is a very common problem that a lot of people face, especially if their daily activities involve a lot of sitting at desks or driving. This is something that a lot of people experience, and it can cause pain in the low back, it can cause tight hips, it can cause tension in those areas. So it's definitely a good idea, even though it's maybe not the most fun part of yoga, to give your hamstrings a little bit of attention. So we can suffer through it together. All right, let's get started. All right, guys, so we're going to start in butterfly pose. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together as close to the body as possible while still allowing the knees to open up. You can interlace the fingers and bring them underneath the feet. Inhale, lengthening that spine, allowing the shoulders to roll back and the heart to open. Deep inhale and exhale. From here, we'll move into our half butterfly. So we're just going to extend the left leg out. You can bring the right sole of the foot into the thigh, flexing these left toes, and just taking a micro twist over that leg so that you're kind of in line with this. And we'll begin to come forward, spine nice and long. So if this is as far forward as you go, that's perfect. If you want to use like a strap or a towel to kind of keep that tension there, that's another option as well. And we'll stay here for a few breaths because you might notice that as you inhale and lengthen the spine, when you exhale, you are able to sink maybe a little bit deeper into the stretch, even if it's only like a tiny little fraction. One more breath. With our next inhale, we'll walk the feet back up to center, drawing that left leg in and extending that right leg out. So again, inhaling nice and tall, exhaling, taking that micro twist, inhale again, and exhale coming forward. You'll notice that when you flex the toes, this becomes a much more intense stretch. One more breath. And inhale, walking yourself back up to center. So we're going to come onto all fours, planting those hands, fingers spread nice and wide, tucking the toes, and lifting the hips up into our downward facing dog. You can walk the heels out here a little bit. That feels good. And we'll take small, slow steps to the top of the mat to meet our hands. You can keep the knees nice and bent here. We're going to come into a Ragdoll Pose. And the idea is that as we release the weight of the head and the upper body, that is going to tip the pelvis forward and open up the hamstrings here. We want to make sure that we're grounded in all four corners of the feet so that we don't tip over. But the more you think about lifting the hips and tilting the pelvis forward, the more you'll feel this in the hamstrings. It's okay to bend the knees. The idea is that we want the stomach to be as close to the thighs as possible, even resting on them. So we'll drop our hands to the mat, inhale that right leg back. You can drop that back knee, and we'll come into our half split pose. So we want the hips to be in line with the knee, The toe can be tucked or untucked, whatever feels better for you. And we're going to extend that front leg out. We want the toes flexed, and we'll allow the hips to be neutral here. Inhale, nice long spine, and exhale, forward bend. Our next inhale, we're going to rock forward, planting that front foot, and you can hop that back foot in a little bit if you need to, coming into our pyramid pose. So this leg is nice and straight. You can bend this front knee if you need to. Again, hips are parallel, spine is long. More breath here. And with our inhale, we're just going to gently walk the hands to the center of the mat. Our feet are going to be, our toes are going to be facing forward. And we'll plant the left hand in the center, keeping those hips nice and level. Take a nice open twist here. And exhale, switching your hands, so right hand comes to center, hips still level. Exhale, taking your twist. And lower the hands. Inhale, walk those hands to the other side, so over to the right foot. Dropping that back knee, again, tucking or untucking the toes, whatever your choice is. And rocking back into that half split. So you might have to kick that leg out. That's all right, as long as the hips are in line with the knee. Spine is nice and long. And you can take your time in these poses. You can always pause and go at your own rhythm. Inhale, rocking forward into our pyramid pose. So again, hopping that back foot in if you need to. Hips are squared, spine is nice and long. One side might feel really different than the other, so sit with that, that's normal. Again, you might want to take more time. With our inhale, we're going to plant our hands. You can bend that knee, and exhale, downward facing dog, really grounding into the hands so that the spine is nice and long, the hips reaching up towards the sky, and seeing how close you can get those heels. Oof. Not very close, that's okay. That's why we practice. Our next inhale, we're going to come forward into our child's pose, and you can rest here as your shavasana. You can come into a traditional shavasana, or if you want to give your hamstrings one more pose, I recommend legs up the wall, so you can hop the hips up to your nearest wall, swing yourself around, drawing those legs as close to the wall as possible. And you can rest here as well. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope your hamstrings feel nice and open now. We'll see you next time.